Hello, comic book fans who like me. You're watching my favorite YouTube channel, Chillmonger, and let's get into it. This is the list of comic books that they posted here on Wikipedia. It's called the list of current Marvel comics. I'm going to break down each title, by title, in alphabetical order. So if you want to skip to the title that you want to find, it is inactive, and then it's the limited series that are upcoming and active, and that's the order of the paper, the way that it's formatted. Let me speak English. Let's start with Alien, volume number 1, and I'll tell you why I'm not reading it. What are my general thoughts? It's not 616 Marvel. While the publishing company is Marvel, yeah. Avengers. Well, I was with these guys. I loved some of the start, of course. The start was awesome. Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness is a great artist. Love him, but it's not really him anymore. And he's doing stuff like Heroes Reborn, which was not consequential. It actually ties up, and look, now we can go back to normal. Excuse me. Now we can go back to normal. Avengers is just not hitting it for me. Everything is pretty slow. Like, it takes 5 issues for each story, 6 issues for each story. And why am I going to be invested in something that costs so much money for one thing to happen each time? And plus, it's the Avengers. I feel like everything should be connected to it, and it's not. There's really no urgency. What's happening with the Black Panther? Actually, the opposite. He's supposed to be the leader of the Avengers, and he's never mentioned anywhere. Even in the as he's leading the Avengers, it doesn't feel like he's leading the Avengers. And then I go to the Black Panther comic, and issue number 1, it's like, bro, I gotta leave. Captain America, take care of it. I'm gone. It's very disassociated with all the rest of Marvel, and I feel like Avengers' goal is to be connected. Jason Aaron should be getting emails from every major writer so that his story can be in sync. We go to Avengers Forever. To my recollection, that's like a multiverse story or something that doesn't really have any weight. So no disrespect to Aaron Cooter or Aaron. Ooh, it's double Aarons. Hey, I feel like I already knew that. The Black Panther, John Ridley, and Juan Cabal. Well, unlike every other comic book here on this list, I am reading the Black Panther. Look, right? It's somewhere here. Here's the variant cover. I am checking out the Black Panther comic book, so that's cool. I just read issue number 5, and I did like a slow little review, a very low monotone review after I listened to it back, but that's okay. But yeah, checking that out for sure. It's like a cool story with the democracy now being introduced to Wakanda, and with democracy come the evils of democracy. They're not shying from it. It's interesting for the most part. Now T'Challa just turned against his own government, so that's things are cooking up. Issue number 6 should be pretty good. We got Captain Marvel. Well, Captain Marvel is a story I'm kind of reading. Sort of interesting. So I am reading that one. Didn't fall off of it for sure. But again, it doesn't really sync up with the Avengers, and that's my problem with that title. For the most part, it's pretty good. Carnage, well, I view Carnage as like a secondary What's the third? What's primary? Secondary? Tertiary. That's a tertiary character. So no, I don't want to get involved with Carnage. And if I feel like I get into one, then I got to be following Venom religiously and following what happens with Spider-Man, the whole symbiote stuff. I'll tune in for Null. I like Null. So if Null gets used in Carnage by Ram V, you count me in. The Eternals? Well, I'm just not interested in these guys. I'm very happy that they got Kieran Gillen and Hassad Ribic in here. And, this is still an ongoing series. It's not like they canceled it after issue number 6 or 12, which shows you why you should be putting major names on your comic books. But Kieran Gillen, yeah, hell yeah. Not reading it, though. It's the Eternals. I know the Eternals' place in Marvel. I'm not going to spend money on something that I know will be ignored, because who's reading Kieran Gillen's Eternals? Don't you wish that would be awesome if all of the writers were told, yo, this is necessary reading, but if you want to work here at Marvel, every Wednesday we'll give you a preview. Not Wednesday, Tuesday we'll give you a preview of what's coming out, just so you guys know. Here it is. Here's the full comic. Wouldn't that be great, so that they could be in the know before they start writing their comic? That would be awesome. They don't do that. People are not reading the Eternals. And then we go to the Fantastic Four, Dan Slott. Man, no. After what you did, not just the Comic Works Jimmy, but the Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards was supposed to be a mutant. And then you go ahead in your story, when Jonathan Hickman is in the middle of writing a story, and you unmutantify him. In the last 30, 40 years when he became a mutant, they didn't do it. But now, when he's actually key and integral to this whole House of X plot, you do that, Dan Slott? I can't give you money. Fantastic Four was pretty good, though. Probably still is. Ghost Rider. You see this? You see this? Volume 10? Yeah, not really interested. When they decide which Ghost Rider they want to get behind, things will be much better. Whether it's, all of them. We've got The Incredible Hulk, written by Donny Cates and Ryan Otley. I am reading this. I'm a Donny Cates guy. Ryan Otley is a kick-ass artist, so when they put the names behind the title, you can count me in for that. Immortal X-Men, it's X-Men. Iron Man. Oh, for if you don't know, the X-Men guys are directionless. Jonathan Hickman was in charge. They voted and vetoed him, and now he's not in charge anymore. When Hickman comes back, I'll be back because I don't want to read inconsequential X-Men, which is what I believe Immortal X-Men is, and the whole thing. So if I just skip over the next X-Men titles, now you understand why. We go to Iron Man. Yeah, they're really trying to make Hellcat, and I gave this thing a chance. I got the first few issues, and Hellcat is still prominently featured here in the Iron Man comic book. Christopher Cantwell, bruh, you're not doing it for me? Or editorial, or whoever's telling you to force her in, or place her in these stories. I don't want it. Cafu, you are an artist who I like. Marauders. It's actually the second volume now that they're on with Steve Orlando rather than Jerry Duggan. Yeah, X-Men. The Marvels. I don't see this mixing with anything else. Kurt Busiek did use Arrow, and I got the Arrow issues because I like the character Arrow, and then I stopped reading it. I stopped picking it up. So no, it's not really having anything to do with the rest of Marvel. Nothing happens in here that makes me feel like I'm missing out. Miles Morales Spider-Man. While I was reading this at first, the story, I think when they did the new Clone Saga, that's when I go, oh, so you really are just going to be the second Peter Parker. I don't want to read another Spider-Man. Make Miles interesting. I hate what they did with him having a little sister, is it? Because his mom got pregnant, and then like a few months later, a few issues later, she gives birth, and time is supposed to move slower in comic books. I was turned off of this comic book. I don't even like Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's called Volume 1, but I think because Bendis's book was called Spider-Man, and this is called Miles Morales Spider-Man, it's different. Or Ultimate Comics. This is actually the third numbering that Miles Morales has got. Moon Knight. Not a fan of the character. Great TV show. This one I regret. Flash by Night, guys, check out that YouTuber. He loves this. He's a Moon Knight guy. He spells Flash by Night with a K, so check him out if you're into the Moon Knight thing. But no, respect to Jed McKay, respect to Alessandro Cappuccio. I'm just not reading it, and that's just a subjective thing. New Mutants and Shang Chi, and it says here ending at issue number 12. Wow, what do you know? They're not behind the character that strongly. Part of this, enough of this goes on the fans. You guys are not picking up Shang-Chi. People like me, we're not picking it up, and therefore it is it's not effective. It wastes money. It's cost ineffective. It's costly to keep on making a Shang-Chi book. Marvel isn't doing anything terribly wrong here, except that they're canceling a book where it's a solo of a guy who's not white, and we want that because most of Marvel is white, as the names I was just reading earlier. Unfortunately, the fans are not reading it. Is Marvel putting it like in Chinatown in New York? Like, how much money would that cost for a guy to just drive from where Diamond, the place where they make the comics, drive over across the street to Chinatown, give it to a vendor, give it to someone, and say, look, try selling it. See what happens. I'm not saying you're going to sell 5,000 comics at one place, but if you put it at a couple of shops, I'm just offering creative ideas. You put it here or there. All you got to do is pay the guy to drive. One of you guys can do it too. It's not difficult. Or LA, wherever the actual place where they print comic books is. It could be Jersey, it could be Pennsylvania, I don't know. But go to Chinatown. Do that. Try it. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to be like a $10,000 comic book moving effective tactic. But let's try. And they haven't really tried to build the fan base. Marketing in comic books is impossible. Yeah, Shang-Chi, I'm not reading it. Too much chicken blood in that first volume. I tried giving it a chance. Jean Luyun Yang, I tried it out. Chicken blood, bro. He lost me. She-Hulk, I know she is like a secondary character. There's Hulk, there's She-Hulk. I don't know who Rainbow Rowell, so they let me know what they thought of this run. This thing is going to last 12 issues also. The creative team behind it, names who I'm not familiar with. Well, you got to have names on your comic books if you want the fans to care, because we're not blind. I know what this is. So no, I'm not reading She-Hulk. Silk is like a secondary Spider-Man character, and it's on the 4th volume, and she debuted only 9 years ago. No, I'm not a fan. Star Wars is Star Wars. I don't read Star Wars. They don't recognize their comic books. They'll change the lightsaber colors and everything. Strange. Nah. Isn't Doctor Strange not Doctor Strange right now? Pass. Plus, I don't like magic. Subjectively, like, I was never with it. So Jed McKay, that's 2. Because you do Moon Knight, and I don't read Moon Knight. I also don't read Doctor Strange. Strange Academy. Nah, it's magic. I'm happy for what they're doing here with these awesome creators, and I hope it succeeds. I don't read it. Thor. I'm definitely checking out the Hulk Thor crossover because Donny Cates is doing exactly what I want. What did I tell you about the Avengers and how it doesn't connect and how Captain Marvel isn't connecting to all the other stories? Well, Thor will, and you can count me in for that crossover. Banner of Hammers or whatever the frick it was called. I'm gonna be checking that out when it comes out. It is next month. Then there's Venom. Thor, the former Thor writer Al Ewing with Rom V. Not a fan of this character. Good events. I'll tune in for the events. I'm happy for what Donny Cates did to elevate him. Definitely was Donny Cates who elevated him, but I'm not reading Venom. I should, right? It's a great team. Brian Hitch and Ram V, Al Ewing. It's a great team. I just don't like it. So a couple of times here, I've said I don't like the character. That just can't be helped, man. I'm sorry. If I don't like him, I don't like him. Wolverine, I do like him, but again, everything I told you about the creative behind the X-Men office. Jordan D. White, I'm not reading Wolverine. No, I'm not reading Excellent. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm not reading X-Force, the X-Men by Jerry Duggan, or the X-Men Red. Sorry. And then upcoming, we got the ASM. Definitely reading this. I stopped reading the ASM because of the Ben Riley thing that they were doing. I was picking up a couple of covers here and there, like the Arthur Adams one here, where it's just pure spiders. And look at that. Look at the anxiety on this image. I definitely had to pick up that Monica Rambeau Beyond trailer. But I don't care about the story. Ben Riley's here. He'll be gone. I've been reading a lot of Spider-Man, and I know Ben Riley's position in Marvel Comics. And I know as soon as this story's done, it's going to be completely ignored by that new team of Zeb Wells and freaking JRJR. So no, not going to be reading The Amazing Spider-Man. Next is Captain America. Let me turn my screen. Sentinel of Liberty and Captain America: Symbol of Truth. I'm going to be reading issue number 0 to see what's cooking. I love Carmen Carnero. I love RB Silva. Tochi Anyobuchi. I'm unfamiliar with him, but I just don't like Sam Wilson as Captain America. If I read it, it'll just be out of curiosity. Well, I will read it out of curiosity. And same with the Sentinel of Liberty. It's a number 1, so I'll check that one out. I don't know. It would suck if this one continues and this one ends. Make a Falcon book, bro. Make a Falcon book. Not a Captain America. Not Sam Wilson pretending to be Cap. Because that was a phase of his life which he ended, and then because of this show and because of what the MCU are doing, they want to go back down that direction. Don't do that. Don't revert because reverting is stupid. Copying what's happening in the movies in this respect, where he actually takes a character taking steps backwards, is stupid. You can mimic what's happening in the movies. Like for Shang-Chi, let's go back to there. This is why I said it was mostly the fans. Because Marvel had a movie come out for Shang-Chi, and they said, here's the comic alongside it. They actually did work in synergy. And some of the story points in Shang-Chi were like family related because the movie was family related. I get it. This is not the way to do it because Falcon shed off the name of Captain America and decided to make a name on his own and elevate Falcon. And then here we are here copying because editorials, because someone is just not a comic book fan enough. It was a suit who made that decision. We got Daredevil with Chip Zdarsky. I'll check out issue number 1 because I was reading Devil's Reign, which has now ended. This is where part where I reach for the comic book of Devil's Reign. Here, 6 out of 6. Events. Gotta check out the events. Plus, they had Riri Williams in there, the main character of Marvel Comics. We got Knights of X, Legion of X, Teeny Howard and Cy Spurrier. They are both on the X-Men team. Savage Avengers, inconsequential, doesn't really mix with the rest of stuff. And it's on volume 2. How about that? The first volume didn't touch on anybody. I know Wolverine was in there and Jerry Duggan was doing it, and none of that seemed to matter in the X-Men I was reading. Inconsequential Savage Avengers is not something I want to read. If you're into good stories or something that's a little bit more savage, a little more R-rated and adult themed, this is for you. But I don't just read good stories. They've got to last too. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. How is this different? I don't know what this is. It's upcoming though. So even though Shang-Chi is going to finish at 12, there will be a issue number 1. And look, it's going to be movie related. How about that? The exact same title of the movie with Marcus Toe. And he's the only guy. Gene is the only dude who gets to write Shang-Chi. Strange Academy is going to renumber and continue, whatever, man. Same thing I said last time. X-Men Legends is not canon, and it's the X-Men. Limited series. Hold on. X-Men Legends is not canon. I should say it is not current. I'm sure you can pretend that any story that happens here was canon and did happen a few years ago, in storyline. Limited series that are active right now. I'm not reading Ben Reilly. Black Panther Legends. I was reading this 4 issues. It was fine. It was bad because it retconned the way that T'Chaka died, and from there on, I'm just like, this is a kid's book. This is a retelling of his origin. Stick to an origin. It's the retconning for no reason. It's not like Tochi Onyebuchi is going to be writing Black Panther proper, and he needed to set this stuff in place. It's just people who don't care enough about Black Panther to, hey, let's make Black Panther stories. Cool, I'll do it. Is it even 616? Like, I don't know. Captain Carter, What If? I don't read those. Elektra, Black, White, and Blood. I don't read Elektra. I know Elektra's place in Marvel. I'm not about to spend money for 4 issues of Elektra. If you like her and you're into the gimmick of black and white comic books with only red, that's for you. It's not for me. We got Iron Fist. I know his place in Marvel. I'm not reading it. King of Conan is outside of Marvel. It's in the Siberian age. So Jason Aaron, Mahmoud Asrar, they've been doing that. That's their thing. If you're into it, check it out. Maestro World War M. With Peter David. Oh, Peter David only writes old comic books. We got Ms. Marvel Beyond the Limit as a current comic book. And yeah, I've been picking up that. We'll see how it closes out. I felt like this issue was very slow, but now that we are getting into the powers and the alternate version of this Kamala Khan, who turns out is a villain, what do you know? Let's fight her. Let's figure out the whole origin of her power and how she borrows from matter. She borrows matter from time, something like that. We're still figuring it out. I'll have a better explanation by the time issue 5 of that comic comes out, but it's explaining her and her powers and stuff. They got a brand new writer on it. If I didn't like the character, I wouldn't have gotten the comic, but I do like the character enough, and plus I've read everything from the character because it's a new character. That's a great thing about these new characters with under 100 comic book issues. You could actually go on the internet, Marvel Unlimited, and catch up in a relatively quick time. And so I've been following Ms. Marvel since I got into comic books about 2018. I know enough about her to, continue giving it my money. Plus, she's not white and she's not a male, which is rare. And because there's so many, there's an abundance of white characters. I want to send the message to Marvel Comics that characters who look differently than white skin are profitable. And by that, I finance those comic books. That's awesome that we take one little one shot to decrease white supremacy and anything that is negative or overly in one direction by the message that it sends to our young folks, like Kamala Khan, who actually became a superhero and changed her form into a white person because that's what she thought superheroes looked like. And so when you can do that and have a whole catalog of heroes who look one way, that's the effects it has on the people who look up at them, and they view the genre and the occupation of being a superhero as a white thing, which is something that minds that are not, I was going to say woke, so I'll say woke, minds that are not really in touch or advanced, matured, may view things. And to the vulnerable, impressionable, that's the word I wanted. Woke works too, if you use woke the proper way. It was an impressionable people who are going to see that, and I don't want that message to further. So I wanted to finance this comic book. And does that mean that I hate all white people? If you're listening to this and you think that's what I said, that's exactly what I said. Maestro, Ms. Marvel. We got Punisher. 13 issues. That's bizarre. I read the first issue and it didn't really touch on the whole swapping of the logo. And I wanted that. I wanted, oh, this is spicy. This has real world ramifications. And it wasn't. I did a little review on it of my disappointment. Not that it's a bad comic book. It was good. Jason Aaron's a quality writer. I didn't like it. And I was never into Punisher. So no, I won't be buying the Punisher. We got Sabertooth. This is X related. If this was 2019, yeah, I'd be reading it. Savage Spider-Man, Joe Kelly. Yeah, just a little stupid limited series. The only Spider-Man that matters is Amazing Spider-Man. Silver Surfer Rebirth. Maybe. Maybe for the jaded fanboy who you see on my streams every Saturday. We got Spider-Gwen Gwenverse. I like the whole Spider-Gwen thing. I like the costume, but this is not a story that is 616. This is like a what if type thing. The imaginary, non-consequential stuff. So no, I don't read it. Same with Spider-Punk. They make a new Spider something all the time, but where will Spider-Punk be next time in the next year? He might show up in the new Into the Spider-Verse crossover 5, but outside of that, the guy who I care about is main Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Star Wars. We got Venom, the Lethal Protector. If that's what you're into, check it out. We got What If, say less. Wolverine patch, and then the X-Men 92. I'm not even sure what that is. Is that X-Men 92? That's got to be about the TV show. So here's some of the upcoming series that I'll be getting into. Ant-Man is not one of them. It's 4 issues, so we know what they think. I wonder what they'll accomplish with Ant-Man, because they're really not using any Ant-Man, whether it's Scott Lang or whether it's Hank Pym. So how will this really affect the rest of Marvel? I don't want to get into it. Even though Al Ewing is a writer behind it, so the sales should be nice. Javier Rodriguez, Tom Really, they're average artists, in my opinion. They're not the top tier, but that guy is, so that should be enough. Plus, it's Ant-Man. So if you got time for 4 issues, we'll see what happens. Defenders Beyond. Nah, I know what you think of the Defenders. Al Ewing is writing a lot of comic books. We've got Gambit from Chris Claremont. I'll get the covers. Janiceville Captain Marvel. I wasn't even sure this was coming. By Peter David. Peter David sticks with old stuff. I'll give it a look. I'm interested. Iron Cat? No. No, I don't care about the Black Cat. Jed McKay has been on that Black Cat for a long time. I just don't. Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor. This is obviously because the movie was popping. I don't care. I see through it. I know who Jane Foster is. During that 3-year run where she was Thor, we all knew it would return back to the regular Thor, Odin's son, and eventually it did. So bringing it back just because the movies, hey guys, remember this, the movies? No, she's not important. The most important character in the Thor thing is Thor, and the second is Beta Ray Bill. You're just doing the Jane Foster thing because of the films, Natalie Portman. I'm not mad at it. I'm just not picking it up. Then we got Mech Strike Monster Hunters. I'm not reading that. Mech Strike, just like the other Mech Strike, there have been 2 others before, haven't been referenced anywhere in Marvel. They are not even 616. Moon Knight, it's a black and white and blood. No. New Fantastic Four by Peter David. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Spider-Man 2099. Nope. I only read 616. Star Wars Obi-Wan. We got Thunderbolts by Jim Zub, Sean Isaacs. I like the creative team. I don't like the Thunderbolts. I'll be checking out issue 1. And then there's the variants. Well, if the variants mean that they're odd people who are not the regulars of the character, then no. I don't want to see alternate universe takes on a character. That's how I think of current Marvel comics. Is it negative? It could be. You could perceive it as negative, but I perceive it as my opinion and how I view things based on a pattern that I've seen from the comic book publisher, Marvel. DC, yeah, I'm checking out. Well, they're done now. Issue 6 of Icon and Rocket already came out, and I think we're waiting on hardware. Do I have that next to me? Yes, I do. The few DC comic books I read. Shout out to Comic Boom for all your DC comic book needs. Go check out he and Jace. Fucking brain meltdown. But go check out Comic Boom because Rocky's got a channel where he talks DC if you're not into me. I also said to check out Flash by Night. 2 channels you should be looking at. Comic Boom, Flash by Night. Go to them, check them out, give them love, like this video, subscribe to Chillmonger if you're not, and au revoir. Au revoir.